I want to welcome you back to Enemy of My Truth. And this past year has been a deep exploration of what it truly means to live in alignment with our truth. And more importantly, what it asks of us when that truth begins to change. Because truth isn't static, it evolves. And when it does, it often requires us to let go of who we've been, what we've outgrown, and the stories that once felt safe but no longer fit. Choosing truth means being willing to change, to stretch, to sit in discomfort long enough to hear what's actually calling us forward. It means recognizing when something, someone, a belief, a pattern, even a version of ourselves has become the enemy of our truth. And having that courage to really face that honestly. I'm so incredibly grateful to be here in this space with you. Grateful for the conversations, the vulnerability, and the shared willingness to look inward. I don't show up here as someone who has it all figured out. I show up as someone committed to evolving, to being real, and to telling the truth as I learn it and as it changes over time. And my hope is that by doing that, it gives you permission to do the same, to question, to change, to grow, to honor what feels true for you, even when, and especially when it's uncomfortable. As I wrap up my first year, I want to thank you for being on this journey with me. I'll be back in January 2026, continuing to show up, continuing to learn, continuing to evolve, and most importantly, continuing to walk this path alongside you. So much gratitude, much love. Let's dive in. I have so much gratitude for this past year, and I just wanted to come on and be who I am through the way that I share my thoughts with all of you. For those that know, and I've shared before, being dyslexic for me, the way that it shows up, I tend to sometimes have a hard time searching for my words. So as I am just on here wanting to connect with all of you and sharing where I've been at in the last year, there will be some pauses as I search for the words that I want to use. And sometimes I don't use the word that I want because I cannot grasp it where it is in my mind. And that's part of the frustration as someone who has dyslexia, and there's different types of dyslexia. Mine is about word retrieval and a hard time always capturing those words to be able to share how I really feel. And so if I take my time and I can share how I feel and be okay with the pauses, I wanted to kind of set this episode up to share all of that with you, that there's a lot of things that hold us back in life because we may not do it perfectly. And for me, overcoming the challenges I might have with my dyslexia, it's not just about reading words in reversal. It's about how we process language and how we hear it and how we can understand it. And so when I'm sharing my thoughts, and I notice that when I am working in the realm of spirit as a psychic, I tend not to get too caught up on what I'm saying because I'm in a very channeled state. I'm very aligned. It's almost as though my right and left brain is activated, which is very interesting. I don't think about what I'm saying. It just naturally comes out. Where if I'm more in the earth plane here, I'm very aware and self-conscious of using the right word, not mixing up my sentences. And so when I do these podcasts and I'm interviewing my guests or even sharing, I'm very aware that I'm saying the right things in the order that it needs to be in, as that conditioning when I was in school growing up was always about getting the wrong grade, not saying the right thing, getting up in class to read an excerpt, which was terrifying, which I don't think should be allowed because there's trauma there of not being able to read everything that you need to or stumbling over words. So there's so much that went into launching this podcast in the last year and how I have grown since last year in celebrating our 1 year anniversary with this, that I'm proud of myself, that it's not all perfect. It's not supposed to be, right? It's growing something. And I always say letting the baby crawl before it walks. And I have to allow that for myself. But I wanted to come on today to just reflect on this last year. And there are so many people to thank for that. But one of the things that I'm seeing a lot of is people reaching out for themselves in the work that I'm doing with clients and the interest in developing these abilities for themselves, understanding and asking about what intuition is. And I love this. I love the curiosity. I love the interest because what that really shows me is the people that I have the honor to work with and those that I have yet to work with and those that are out there listening to this. That when you feel those nudges, when you feel like there's something more calling to you than your 9 to 5 job, than what you might do on the weekends, that you're interested in that book about psychic abilities or what is intuition, what is mediumship. What I like to share is that it's less about you learning something, which we all do, and it's more about your soul remembering something that it already knows. And I find the more that that curiosity grows in us, the more we are just drawn to it every day. And that can happen in the way that people show up in your life that happen to be into the same thing or ask you about it just randomly. And it's not randomly. You might see a book come across your social media. You might be out in a bookstore where you start to see these things pop up like signs, spirit, energy, ghost. All of these things are leading you to align with something your soul's very familiar with. And for some of us, we're very much drawn to this work, whether we go out professionally and do it, or you simply just want it for yourself. And I think the majority of the people that I work with, they're stepping into an intuition class, they're stepping into my psychic development class, or going further to mediumship simply for their own understanding of how they operate, which is such a beautiful gift to give to yourself. And it can just simply be for you. You don't have to go do something with it, but many people do. And my students who step into that and go work for themselves and share that light with the world, I am your biggest advocate. As I've always said, that it takes a village to do this work and that there's not one size that fits all. And some of the misconception that I get around people who step into wanting to either take my online courses or come in person to see me in my studio in York, Maine, is this fear around it. Like, if I start to connect with spirit, what I've been told, will I lose control of myself? Will something take over me? And one of the things that I want to share, and I was on a walk this morning and I was just thinking that when we are connecting to your intuition, to psychic abilities or awareness, or even through mediumship, what you're ultimately doing is I am teaching you and showing you that you're connecting, you're connecting to the non-physical aspect of who you are, that we all have an aspect of ourselves. I always say, think of a space station in space and a rocket ship coming into Earth, that who you are in this particular lifetime is that rocket that's here on Earth, but up in space is the space station that has access to the whole universe, meaning that your space station, your non physical part of yourself, is always up there, always overseen. And that space station has access to other space stations, which are other non physical beings, which are other people's parts of their soul that is from the non physical, that's in the non physical. That when I like to put pictures to this so we can understand it, that what I teach in the classes is you are connecting to that space station that's always in the non-physical. It's always has access to information to the past, the present, the future. And we can connect to our angels, we can connect to our guides, we can connect to whatever that is for you. But the most important connection that I can teach you is to connect to yourself in the non physical, which we refer to as higher self and soul energy, because that's the part of you that has all knowing, that then has access to other people who have passed so that are no longer in the physical plane, that their energy is in the non physical, that you are connecting to angels, to spirit guides, But I want to be very clear that when I am teaching, whether it's intuition and psychic development through mediumship, that the most important connection I want to teach you is the connection you have with yourself. There's nothing to be afraid of, nothing to fear. And I hope that that comes through in the classes and what I can impart on you to take away. So I hope my example of a space station, that there's a million space stations out there and we're kind of next to all of them. And when we have access to the information that that space station holds for us, we can connect with it whenever we want. The physical part of ourselves in this incarnation can connect to the non-physical part of ourselves that has an all-knowing of past, present, future, and perhaps what's best for us. Like, how does it guide us if we really learn to tap into that, which is tapping in and listening to your intuition. And those who want to go further can really start to understand their abilities through their psychic clairs, which is so cool, which is such a fascinating thing to watch people unfold and step into. And then those who want to go further and connect to spirit, it's really just changing a perception and an awareness. We're just really making a switch. You're using your foundations of your intuition to trust what you get as you develop your psychic clairs to then connect with spirit. And whether you do that, like I said, as a job or just something you have access to every day, it can only enhance the reason that we're here, in the most interesting, profound way. And being a witness of that as a teacher, it's the greatest gift. So I wanted to kind of share a little bit about I have had some people that I've been working with and some comments come in about, what does it mean to connect? Can I take this class? Let the class show you. Let yourself show up to the class and let it reveal who you are. That for many people who step into my classes, they've been feeling these things their whole life, but they have no one to talk to about it. Or they might feel hesitant to talk to somebody about it. And I find when you come into a class, whether you can only do that through my online classes, which I really try to translate what I do in person in the classrooms to my online courses, or you come into an in person class, I want you to feel a part of something. I want you to know that whether you've been walking around the past couple weeks, the past 5 years or 40 years, that you've been connecting to something this whole time and we can make sense of it, that you can figure out what that feels like for you. So as we step into 2026, I'm really, really excited to be offering my in-person classes and my retreat in Tuftonboro, New Hampshire, May 7th through the 10th. And I do know that this is Mother's Day weekend, and we did something with the scheduling. And so, because of that, please reach out to us if you're interested in that retreat. Some people might be leaving the night before to make it home for Mother's Day, and some people will be home by the afternoon of Mother's Day. So, all kinds of information on the website. And I'm so incredibly excited to be with the participants that will be there that weekend and really connect as we're utilizing our psychic abilities and tapping into mediumship to connect to non-physical energy in the most beautiful way. And I will be continuing to see clients one-on-one, whether that's in person or remote sessions through Zoom, and creating some new opportunities to work with groups via Zoom and staying connected that way and offering that space. But I wanted to say thank you to all of you for being here and connecting through the podcast, through social media, that I am still figuring it all out and working through the things that are not always easy, finding my voice in this new way where I can be very comfortable in the work that I do. But I think if we're not challenging ourselves, then nothing changes, right? If you've had this nudge to do something else, to take a course, to find that book, to work with a teacher, let this be your message to do that. Step into tomorrow, next week, next year, whenever that is, and just know that it's waiting for you. And as that saying goes, nothing changes if nothing changes. And I know that this year has been a huge growth opportunity for me in uncomfortable ways, but in the most incredible ways of how my business has grown and how I've grown as a person. And I want to share something that I kind of wrote up so I can stay consistent and stay focused of giving some thanks to some people for this last year. And as so much has shifted with my business and evolved in ways that I couldn't really have predicted. And I am so deeply reminded that none of this has happened alone for me. And I feel such an overwhelming sense of gratitude again for everything this year has brought, every conversation, every client, every moment of growth, and really every lesson along the way, every humbling lesson that we just have to start from scratch, and that every year maybe we go in to be the freshman. And I think it keeps us humble and it keeps us learning. But I really want to take a moment to honor the incredible women who have helped bring this vision to life this year. Heather, Heather S. I want to thank you for encouraging me to step into creating the podcast in the first place. She's like, hell yes, Anne, let's just do this. And really helping me recreate my branding and guiding the launch and all of our hard work. All of our hard work I could not have done without Heather to launch my online course this year. And the hours she has put in, and the dedication and the heart. We have done that together, and I have so much gratitude for what Heather has brought to my work and what she'll continue to bring. And really, Heather's belief in me and in this work has mattered more than I hope she knows or that she will ever know. So much gratitude. I want to then reach out my shout out to Brianna, who was an incredible artist in the Seacoast area, along with her husband and their business. Your artistic direction, your vision, and your incredible, profound creative talent have brought so much of my work into fruition. And Brianna, you have a way of seeing what wants to come through before sometimes I can even put words to it. Your connection to energy is just profound. And I am endlessly grateful for the beauty and the art that you've helped me create and shape, and the work that in the projects that we have down the road, and what that's going to look like bringing that together. And last but definitely not least, Abby G. Welcoming you into this work has been the most incredible gift in the way that our energy came together. Your presence, your care, honesty, tenacity, and dedication to work alongside me and with the sacredness of my clients and the connections that you have helped create to bridge myself with them, my work, allowing it to grow, and bring heart and integrity to the work that we do. You are a force of nature. And because of the work that you do for me, Abby, and the space that you hold allows the work to truly be held and allows me to do what I need to do to reach my clients, to grow, and to figure it out along the way. And you let me know if something's working or if it's not, and have that mind. Abby, thank you so much. And it really does. And I'll say this again and again. It does take a village. And I could not have done any of this without these incredible women walking alongside me. And as we look ahead to the new year, I am filled with so much excitement for the growth that's to come, new offerings, deeper connections, and continued, expansion rooted in integrity, care, transparency, and purpose. And I'm so incredibly grateful beyond words and so deeply, deeply humbled and honored to continue this journey with all of you. I cannot say it again. This work continues to show me who I want to be, who I need to be, through the things that work and the things that don't. And stepping into this next year, there'll be more of that. Thank you for being here on this journey this last year. And I welcome you into the next year with all of us. And thank you to my team and the people who've been on this path with me. Wishing you a beautiful holiday season in any way that you celebrate that. And I look forward to seeing all of you in the new year when I'll be back in January, kicking things off again. Take care and much love always.